So no scores so far in a dull opening 2 minutes. Good cut by Brian Wheelahan. Once again it's Christy Helibert out. Long lengthy delivery in towards Joe Rabbit. Great full back play once again by the other man. This time it's Kevin Kinahan. Shane McGuckin keeping that ball in play. And Johnny Pilkington the last one to touch it. The early attacks coming from Galway. Corey Kelly. Nice ball inside, cut well. One towards Justin Campbell, whipped away by Brian Wheelahan once again. Daithí Regan just unsettled momentarily. Joe Cooney partly blocked down. Reaches Joe Rabbit. Swinging the stick, batted down once again. And this time it's Martin Hannamy, the Offaly captain, taking it away from Justin Campbell. Joe Dooley, member of the Offaly team since 1984, up towards Declan Pilkington. This time it's Tom Helibert in some trouble. Getting assistance there from Pete Finnerty. And Nigel Shaughnessy, the number 7. A match which needs a point or two just to settle it down. Johnny Dooley, knocked down. Helibert, broken clear out here towards Corey Kelly. Played so much of his hurling course around the left half back position. Michael McGrath, struggling to get clear. Dogged contest so far. Brian Wheelahan, just too much. Brendan Kelly, the player who's lifting himself off the ground here, having made the transition from midfield into full forward. Richie Burke today playing in his 6th championship encounter. Nicely blocked down. Taken away by Johnny Pilkington. And as far as Christy Helibert once again. Winning the first couple of balls coming his way between himself and Billy Dooley. Dooley, who's been such a major influence in the Leinster Championship this season. Great distance once again. Joe Rabbit. Just trying to get some latitude here. Trying to engineer the first point of the day. Just over 5 minutes gone. Not the first wide of the match for Galway. Jim Troy. Towards his brother John. Michael Coleman bats it down for Galway instead. Now Johnny Pilkington, locating his brother Declan. Nicely infield towards Joe Dooley, runs on to John Troy instead. The hand pass to Daithí Regan outside the 45-metre line. Looking for the first point, and he's also put it wide. Nervous start. Michael Coleman lets it run on. Joe Cooney. Kevin Kinahan coming out here against Joe Rabbit. Could be quite a battle that. Martin Hannamy. That's out towards Daithí Regan. Struggling to get away from the 2 Galway men. One of them Justin Campbell. John Troy, fresh air puck. Instead it's Galway's captain this year, Jerry McInerney. To Michael Coleman. Kevin Kinahan again back there minding the house. Very secure, fetched well. Long delivery. Christy Helibert over his head this time, on towards Brendan Kelly. Trying to get away from Paul Cooney. Johnny Dooley preventing it from going out over the sideline just about, and surrendering it to Nigel Shaughnessy. Tempo of the game just beginning to rise even more in the last minute or so as Joe Rabbit bears down on goal. Out towards Peter Kelly. Kelly, who likes to roam in the Sarsfield's colours. Onto Joe Rabbit, should be a score here, and there is! And Nigel Shaughnessy, the one who set it up initially back at the other end. 7 minutes it's taken to produce that first point. Peter Kelly here, just making some room for himself, taking quite a few steps. And then it was in for Joe Rabbit, and after there, the point was located. Meanwhile, back with play, it's Johnny Dooley firing one just outside to the left and wide. He looks most disappointed. 3 wides for Offaly so far, 1 for Galway. Brian Whelan. Johnny Pilkington giving good length into it. Once again the corner back here winning most of the duels for himself and Billy Dooley. Christy Halibert. Once again down towards Peter Kelly. Martin Hannamy following him the whole time. Joe Dooley is over there for Offaly and Pete Finnerty for Galway. Eamon Cregan and Jarlath Cloonan, the respective team coaches. Cregan, of course, hoping to engineer a meeting with his native county in about 4 weeks' time here in the All Ireland Hurling Final. Crowd strangely silent. Pete Finnerty. Broke it inside there towards Justin Campbell. Coming off the stick of Dáithí Regan. Whipped away by Martin Hannamy for Offaly, only as far as Joe Cooney. Cooney across into space here towards Pádraig Kelly. One of the match in the All-Ireland final last year and in the club final. That time surrendering it to Dáithí Regan. Added to by John Troy to Declan Pilkington. Miss hit. And that's over the sideline. And the linesman across there, here's Ger Harrington from Cork, deciding that it went off Tom Helibert. So it's going to be an Offaly ball. Just 1 point so far in 8 or 9 disappointing moments of hurling. Cut in, but only as far as Jerry McInerney. To Michael Coleman, expected to dominate around midfield, fumbling and recovering well. There's a call, I'm sure, from Nigel Shaughnessy on his left-hand side, just ahead is Pádraig Kelly. Liam Burke now, striving to get into this match. That was hit in over the head of Joe Rabbit. Jim Troy, arguably one of the best netminders on the country. A little fumble here for Martin Hannamy. And the line's cleared, but only as far as Justin Campbell. And Whelan having a quick look over the left shoulder just to see where Pádraig Kelly was. Getting in a long clearance towards Johnny Dooley. And once again it's Christy Halibert coming out here. Playing the champions last year, having played the previous year. A real struggle down there right now. Galway get the decision. Halibert here doing the spade work. It's the replay action again of that. Just attempting to get that ball up somehow. And that's where he was upended. Pádraig Kelly from the All-Ireland Club champions Sarsfields. Nicely taken up once again by Brian Whelan. Such an accomplished player. Jerry McInerney watching it, but Joe Dooley coming in his blind side, tuck it low for Brendan Kelly. That's Paul Cooney. Pete Finnerty in that pile-up, and the referee Willie Barrett is going to throw that ball in. Hurling so far really lacking style. Maybe Billy Dooley could do something about that. The throw by Pete Finnerty is penalised. Offaly get the free in and a chance for the equaliser. Pete Finnerty, who of course spent so much of last year's All-Ireland final warming up, finally did come in very late in that game. So here's a gilt-edged chance then for Johnny Dooley. Should be the equaliser. 12 minutes into the first half. Offaly's first score has finally come. sides are level. And let's hope the game can pick up from here. Hubert Rigney. Michael Coleman having a quick look up to see where the posts were. Swinging one in dangerously. Broken down well by Hopper, and then it's Kevin Kinahan. Johnny Pilkington. A little push there. It's Christy Halliburton once again. Playing very well indeed at left corner back. A little dodge here by Joe Cooney. Johnny Pilkington following him. Nicely across here towards Justin Campbell. Bidding to put Galway back in front again, but not with that puck. Always second wide. So far it's a very dogged contest. Two sides closing one another down very effectively. There's very little room for movement. And Offaly just making a switch in their inside forward line. I can tell you what we watch. Full forward and full back. And Declan Pilkington has now gone across. Billy Dooley is top of the left. Here's Joe Dooley. The stick there of Corey Kelly. Back in by Johnny Pilkington. Nicely on towards Brendan Kelly. And the referee again spotting the foul there by Paul Cooney. So Offaly have a chance of going in front here. Tough competitive duel that between Cooney and Kelly. So they can only watch. As once again it'll be Johnny Dooley. And this should be the lead for Offaly for the first time. Offaly 2, Galway 1. And just about 14 and a half minutes gone in the first half. Good length once again in that puck out by Richie Burke. Kevin Martin there in some trouble. Out as far as Peter Kelly. And Jim Troy and the umpires were waving that one wide. The younger players in this match just 19 years of age. Troy's puck out, added to there by Daithí Regan, right into the corner. Tom Helibert winning the race across there. Now Paul Cooney played at right corner back last year in the championship, playing in place of the injured Sean Tracy. Nicely in that time by John Troy to Johnny Dooley. Looking for the first point from play for Offaly. He's got it. He's also got all their scores, and he's given them a 3-1 lead. It was a very nice move, worked right across the field. John Troy, the man who set it up for Johnny Dooley, and the number 10 with an unerring finish. Broken down towards Justin Campbell. Once again Brian Wheelahan winning that battle. Michael Coleman now. The side having fallen 2 points into arrears. Good burst out here by Kevin Martin. Richie Burke, watch that one go harmlessly wide. Shake of the head there by the 21-year-old. Michael Coleman once again fetching at midfield. So often the ball from midfield has gone towards top of the left here towards Hopper McGrath. This time he wins the free kick, or wins the free. The player who's come across to take it. Captain of last year's successful under-21 team. So midway through this first half, just a point between them. Kelly there having quite a battle at midfield alongside Michael Coleman. Nigel Shaughnessy coming across here to try and dispossess Johnny Dooley. Hopefully get the decision. Nicely cut up in towards John Troy, runs on instead, and that's whipped there in the end by Declan Pilkington. And it's gone off a Galway defender. It's the game's first 65. Johnny Dooley, who's been taking the frees, coming out to take the 65 as well. Eamon Cregan away in the background. And stylish player. Good crisp striker of the ball as well. And now that's 4 points for Offaly and for Johnny Dooley. Justin Campbell jumping here and move to left half forward. Nigel Shaughnessy now, players running ahead of him over the head of Kevin Martin, runs on towards Martin Hannamy, and Kevin Kinahan once again played so well in the Leinster final this year. Liam Burke back towards Corey Kelly, just a little bit of uncertainty there. It ends up with a Galway sideline ball. Michael Coleman shaping up to take this one through towards Joe Cooney, picked up here by Dáithí Regan. Fine delivery inside to the inside forwards. This time it's Billy Dooley, having discarded the black helmet, to his brother Joe, and that's a lovely score from Joe Dooley, playing in his 26th championship match. He makes it 5 points to 2, and Dáithí Regan was the one who set it up for him. But that long punt out as far as Billy Dooley, now playing at top of the left, back to brother Joe, and the Dooley's combination results in the score. Michael Coleman again against Dáithí Regan. This time it's Pete Finnerty nipping in. Ooh, a hefty shoulder that time from Hubert Rigney. Dáithí Regan once again. Outside nicely to Joe Dooley. Towards Declan Pilkington, broken down there. Paul Cooney getting the assistance there of the left corner back, Christy Helibert. Well, his side has a 3-point lead, but I'm sure he's not even thinking about a possible final between Offaly and Limerick. What match that would be. Joe Dooley preparing to take this one. Just going towards the right, batted down there by Declan Pilkington, but the umpire has signalled that it quite clearly went wide. Still a very tight, very close match. To see the pyrotechnics in this one, and that went off the back of referee Willie Barrett, and he's going to throw the ball in, having inadvertently interrupted play. Jarlath Cloonan on the left hand side there with Tony Regan alongside him, the team trainer. Offaly win that contested ball from the throw. Billy Dooley upended, Offaly get the free in, and no doubt Johnny Dooley will be the one who'll come across and take it. Marvellous contribution that the Dooleys have given to Offaly hurling down the years. And this is 4th free, 3 points from 3 frees so far, and this to maintain a 100% record at his 5th point of the day. Offaly and Johnny Dooley 6, Galway 2. Indeed, when you consider that the other Offaly point, the 6th, was from Joe Dooley, you appreciate how much they're contributing on the half-forward line. Joe Cooney now for Nigel Shaughnessy, played in the forwards during the league. Galway needing a lift, needing a score badly. They're tracking them as Johnny Pilkington runs in towards Joe Rabbit. And in the end, it was Shane McGuckian who got it out, but only as far as Michael Hopper-McGrath. And the point they needed has come from the Sarsfield striker. First point of the day. Ball broken out there. Not such a good clearance, but just enough to give Hopper the chance. Jerry McInerney winning his duel there against John Troy, providing the fodder for Michael Coleman. Nobody to close him down. In towards Joe Rabbit once again. Direct route being taken by Galway. Kinahan forced him for the foul this time, having won so many of the earlier balls that came down between them. And it's Galway's free. It was Michael Coleman's huge delivery in towards Joe Rabbit. And that's where the full-back had his arms all around him. Can't really argue against that. So this time Liam Burke to get his second pointed free of the day and put just 2 between them. And all of that with 24 minutes gone in the first half. This is the 5th ever semi-final between these counties, and even Stevens so far with 2 wins apiece. Rory Regan has that run on to Joe Dooley. Another huge ball delivered in there, well saved by the goalkeeper Richie Burke. Johnny Pilkington now, getting the despairing dive there by Nigel Shaughnessy. Yet another wide. Offaly's 6th of this first half so far, against just 3 for Galway. Galway have made a switch, incidentally, bringing Nigel Shaughnessy now to midfield and Pádraig Kelly to left half-back. That to try and energise their midfield and at the same time get Pádraig Kelly to close down on Johnny Dooley. Hubert Rigney. St. Ryan is against Sarsfield and against many of these Galway players down in Thurles in February in the All Ireland Club Semi-Final. The All Ireland Senior Semi-Final, and Joe Dooley here against Pete Finnerty. Foul there by Tom Helibert. Direction, it's going to be the other way. Chopped down by Billy Dooley. Just looking at it there again, I think they will have picked that ball as well. It all results in a free to Galway. With Nigel Shaughnessy, it's going to be an Offaly free. Good use of an elbow there by Nigel Shaughnessy. Brian Wheelahan. Jerry McInerney once again breaking it down. That's it, it's a great goal! And it's John Troy who's got it! At last this game may come to life. Offaly lead by 5 points. Brian Wheelahan's long free. Watch as it was broken down by the stick of Jerry McInerney. And that was just enough for John Troy to come on to. Watch him stealing in here on the left-hand side and away to the far corner. This is worth looking at again. Goalkeeper really had very little chance. Away to the far corner. The sheer power carried it in. So Offaly now in a very commanding position. Lead of 5 points. Not a great lead in hurling, but just enough to have their noses in front. And here's the goal scorer, John Troy again. First real shot he had, and he goaled with that. This time winning the free. Younger brother, of course, of Jim Troy, former underage netminder. Brian Wheelahan from Burr. Good ball inside towards Daithí Regan, touched on there, past Brendan Kelly. Billy Dooley was in there trying to dispossess. It's Jerry McInerney for Galway. The shoulder there from Joe Dooley, enough to dispossess him. And then Declan Pilkington had to be careful that he didn't overcarry. Joe Dooley. In time, Brendan Kelly very nearly got a touch on that one. Trying to vary his puck out as much as possible. This time opting for that right wing. Peter Kelly now. John Troy. Crisp delivery again towards Declan Pilkington. Giving Christy Helibert a bit more work to do. Helibert trying to stand his ground. Tough and ferocious in there at times. Helibert now. He did well, picking up with Paul Cooney. Meanwhile, there's an Offaly player on the ground. Brendan Kelly, the injured party. Play continues. Joe Cooney towards Peter Kelly's corner, touched away by Martin Hannamy, who's also discarded the helmet. Liam Brock got blocked down there from Kevin Martin. And Brendan Kelly here. The player who's receiving the attention from Dr. Brendan Lee there. Just a clash of bodies just in that last attack there with Christy Helibert. Well, Galway will be very disappointed so far with the position their attack has taken up, because just 2 points, I think, from play so far out of the 4 points they've scored. The Offaly backs so very dominant indeed. And Brendan Kelly appears to be concussed. I wonder whether they will take the option of replacing him. Been helped here by Declan Pilkington as well. And Offaly considering a change, with Brendan Kelly being forced out of the match, clearly quite concussed. There will be Brian Hennessy who's coming on. Eamon Cregan then just issuing the instructions. Play continues with this sideline ball, and Pete Finnerty from Mulla will be the taker. Nicely up towards Kelly. Martin Hannamy back there battling, getting support from Daithí Regan. Offaly grouping well as a team. So often in the past they've made life very difficult for Galway teams, in particular in those two All Ireland finals, 1981 and 1988. This the incident here which appears to have concussed Kelly. Just gone into a flying elbow. And the player who's come on, I think, may well be Pat O'Connor of Coolderry. Eamon Cregan wants a bit more urgency. Meanwhile, again Finnerty, dropping it in well. Hubert Rigney with Martin Hannamy, defiant as ever, towards Billy Dooley. Tom Helibert drops it down. Jerry McInerney can't collect it. John Troy continuing to make life rather difficult. Johnny Dooley now, outside the 45-metre line. Christy Helibert was winning the race initially. This is Pat O'Connor, first taste of the action towards Declan Pilkington. Couldn't quite get enough room to swing his stick because Paul Cooney was really breathing down his neck. So confirmation that it's Pat O'Connor of Coolderry who's come on. Dáithí Regan again. Corey Kelly getting the assistance here from Jerry McInerney. Joe Cooney just ahead of him. The delivery from Joe Cooney in towards Joe Rabbit. Breaks it down towards Brian Wheelahan. Kevin Kinahan can't quite take it up. Instead it's Justin Campbell. Again trying to locate, this time Liam Burke. A great defending by Shane McGuckian. This time Johnny Dooley, the player who's indicted. Free to Galway. Not everybody in harmony will gather in Croke Park with that decision, but he is taken very quickly. Joe Cooney towards Nigel Shaughnessy, now of course playing in midfield. Right across towards Michael McGrath, has taken up a new position, seems to be playing now at right half forward. Peter Kelly, powerless to stop Martin Hannamy. Down nicely towards Billy Dooley, skipping away from the would-be challenge, putting in the shot and putting it over the bar. A very good score indeed by Billy Dooley, the third member of the Dooley clan to score. Martin Hanamy's long clearance out of defence reached Billy Dooley from a huge distance out in an acute angle. He made the most of it. Great score. So now just a minute to go to half-time. And after a less than certain start, Offaly have certainly come to terms with the Galway challenge. Offaly creating 17 chances so far, taking 8 of them against just 7 chances set up by Galway, and they've taken 4. What a telling statistic. Johnny Pilkington wondering where the ball has gone. He gets it back to Johnny Dooley. Johnny Dooley, yes, way in towards Billy Dooley. This time stopped by Tom Helibert. Jerry McInerney. Chance to make his clearance across to that right wing. Never really gave Peter Kelly much of a chance. You look at the Galway panel today, with players like Pat Malone and Joe McGrath, and even Micheál Donoghue and Francis Ford possibly to come in yet. I'm sure they're considering their options with half-time approaching. One-handed away that time by Corey Kelly, not quite his dominant self in this championship match so far. Jerry McInerney down towards Peter Kelly's corner. If Martin Hannamy isn't getting it, well, it's Kevin Kinahan. Now Michael McGrath inside towards Peter Kelly, keeping it away towards Justin Campbell. Half a chance here for Galway, and Martin Hannamy back there doing well to Johnny Pilkington towards Johnny Dooley, 65 metres out. Cross towards older brother Joe, beaten by Pete Finnerty. Finnerty who burst on the scene here against Cork in this fixture back in 1985. Stalemate, kicked in by Justin Campbell. Very important intervention by Shane McGuckian because there was a Galway player loose inside. Dáithí Regan. Long clearance once again. And this time it's the falling Tom Helibert going backwards who made the intervention. Here comes Pat O'Connor, bearing down on goal. Chance of a score here, and bailed off. A substitute enjoying himself, having taken over at full forward for the injured Brendan Kelly, and 7 points the margin. This was a lovely little move inside here. Kelly wormed his way through, shortened the grip on the hurley, and took his chance. That's the final piece of action of a half that took a long time to get going, but Offaly have been the better team as the half progressed. John Troy got the all-important goal that really set up this team in the 27th minute, and as they retire at half-time, with John Troy having played his part, it's Offaly who lead at half-time by 1-8 to 4 points.
Yes, 1-8 to 4 points. It may not be quite the dominance that Limerick had over Antrim in the first semi-final, but nonetheless it's been all Offaly in this second semi. Offaly and Limerick for the All Ireland final. It's very much looking that way. There's 35 minutes still to decide it though. We'll have more after the commercial break. half-time then in the second of the All Ireland semi-finals between Offaly and Galway. Offaly leading 1-8 to 4 points at half-time as the RTE boys band entertain the crowd once again here at the break. Now, joining me on the panel today has been DJ Carey and Babs Keating. DJ, you know these Offaly players very well, having played them in the Leinster Championship several times, and indeed they're not letting Leicester hurling down today.
No, that's for sure, Michael. I said before the game that they played well against us. We weren't sure would they repeat that, but they did against Wexford, and they're certainly doing it so far today. I mean, their backs are playing out their skin again today. Galway have had a number of chances, and the Offaly backs have cleared them. They've taken most of their chances up front, so they look very impressive so far anyway.
Let's take a look at the Offaly goal, because this was beautifully taken by John Troy when he got the opportunity. Maybe a dodgy free for Brian Wheelhan, but they got it nonetheless.
Yeah, that's true, and it was a great free. It was lobbed in. Michael Coleman, I think, went up for it there, and John Troy lashed on. That's a brilliant strike off the ground. You know, it's a classic strike. He was running onto the ball, and he got the rightly under it and struck it very well. And you won't get a better goal in the game than that.
Here's the view from the goal angle, and as you can see, Richie Burke had very little chance, although made the best of attempts to get a stick to it.
Yeah, he wasn't too far away, but still it was a very good strike off the ground.
Babs, we can only praise the way Offaly have been playing all around the field, and their defence have been tight, good at midfield, taking their scores, but Galway must be disappointed with the way they're going at the same time.
You have to be disappointed with Galway, Michael. Now, we knew at the start that the Offaly backs are probably the best in the game. I sympathise with TJ's experience over the last couple of years, because those backs give no opportunity to the kind of backline that you'd love to be associated with. Dahi Regan has bridged the gap very well in the middle of the field, and they were lucky enough then they got handy points, and the goal kind of put daylight between themselves and Galway today. Where Galway are going to find a way back, they're certainly not going to find it with the formation they have in the first half. I can certainly see a few changes, whether Malone is good enough to come on, or whether Joe McGrath might be introduced as centre forward, and Joe Coney in the corner, and they hope that they might poach a goal at some stage.
Right, Babs, well, at the moment down on the field, the young people from the national schools all over the country are giving an exhibition of the regular mini skills that are part and parcel of a big day here in All Ireland semi-finals and finals. Also down on the pitch at the moment is Marty Morrissey, who may have some news for us.
Well, just to tell you, Michael, that Brendan Kelly, when he did get injured that time, Dr. Brendan Lee, the Offaly team doctor, a general practitioner in Kilcormac, he rushed to him and he found that Brendan was actually unconscious on the field. But slowly but surely he came through. He's now inside in the dressing room, still suffering from concussion, and according to the doctor, Brendan Kelly is at this moment going to be brought to the Mater Hospital for further checkup. But he seems to be okay, just in case his family are listening. Brendan Kelly is okay. I spoke to him myself and he will be fine. In both dressing rooms there seems to be tremendous anxiety. Definitely the Offaly dressing room is the happier. Jarlath Cloonan was very worried going into the Galway dressing room, saying that we aren't playing that well at the moment, but he hopes for a better second half. Back to you, Michael.
Right, Marty, well, I think that they're not playing that well is an understatement from Jarlath. I'm sure he's trying to sort things out there in the Galway dressing room at half-time. Good to hear that Brendan Kelly is okay, that hospitalisation is no more than the usual formality. TJ, here come Galway for the second half. Do you see any chance of Galway pulling this one out of the park?
Well, Michael, there's 7 points in it now. 7 points sounds a lot, but it's not a great lot in hurling, so it only takes a couple of pucks of the ball. But they'll certainly have to improve an awful lot. The full back line gave away a few frees. The half back line is not going great at the moment. Offaly are certainly on top of midfield and on top of the back, so they'll have to just improve a little bit on them.
Babs, we speculated that Pat Malone might come into this game, and indeed there he is, number 17, Galway's regular midfielder down through the years. Didn't start because of an injury. Obviously Galway feel they need him now.
Well, they need Pat, and they need him playing well. He certainly wouldn't want to be injured playing against the competition that's out there from Offaly. Apart from that, like, it's the Galway forward line that's leaving him down. There's nothing happening like for Joe Coney and Joe Rabbit and young Kelly in the corner, and the Hopper is the only one that's kind of making his way for a few scores at the moment.
Pat should be okay for this one, Babs, because he was almost right to start. They just didn't want to chance him, but they felt if he had another week he would have been absolutely right. But I think they're still going to get a good 35 minutes from him.
Well, I suppose we know we're speaking to a Galway man, so Michael, for your sake,